Hello YouTube, my name is Plazukas, and today is going to be a little bit different of a video. I want to cover someone by the name of Vara Dark, an online personality that I don't really know much about, but recently has come into headlines by going back and forth with a long, respected developer, creative director of games like God of War and Twisted Metal. And today's video is going to be on her covering GTA 6. And it's a game that I particularly am extremely interested in, not just from a personal perspective, but from an actual business one. And so we're going to go over this right now. Let's react to her video.
Wondered how politically correct Grand Theft Auto 6 was going to be, because we know that Rockstar had cleaned up their ranks and the way that their company was ran and how developers were treated across their studios. And now we're hearing reports saying GTA 6 will be less crude towards transgender people.
Okay, so as you can see, first off, just the attitude that is being conveyed here is actually pretty egregious, in my opinion. The reality is, if a studio is full of misogynist, racist, bigoted people that just used to fling insults at a certain demographic for fun, for no reason, and not even for parody, maybe for their own personal feelings, that's no different than any other agendas that are in video games. Or those that don't allow you to have any form of choice, right? So I don't know why anyone is defending someone from being overly misogynistic or overly racist or overly discriminatory. And if you are, that's fine, I guess. I think it's illegal to some degree. But if it's not, or if you can get away with it and it's freedom of speech, then that's fine. But just say it. Be very clear that is what you align and that's what you believe. Let's continue.
And minorities. I have a few different things to show off, but before I get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out.
Well, I don't enjoy the content you create, apparently. If this is what you create, let's go in.
The links in the description, join the community in my live streams, and consider.
I did join one of her live streams. She was playing Stalker 2, and I think it was a fine stream. I think her gameplay live streams are potentially very neutral and gameplay specific. I think that's where all content creators should be, ultimately. But at the same time, if there's going to be people like this that are going to talk out, then there needs to be people like me that's going to push back. And then outside of that, if we're just going to play video games for video game's sake, then kumbaya.
Supporting through Patreon or YouTube memberships. Now, Grand Theft Auto has made its name on degeneracy and making fun of everybody, and that shouldn't be a problem. Sometimes games are not meant to be politically correct, and that's what made GTA so popular in the first place. But it seems that they might have taken their internal cleaning up a little bit too seriously, because now we're being told that it is going to be less crude. So, it's...
Okay, yeah. And to be honest, we don't know. Here's what I do know. GTA 6 will still have satirical comedy. It will still poke fun at all of these groups, regardless of their protection or not. But it will do it in a way that is a bit more equal. It'll do it in a that's a bit more directed towards the story or towards the choices. And that doesn't mean you can't choose to do whatever you want as a player. You can. But as far as the golden path, yeah, that's going to be a little bit stripped down. And there's nothing wrong with that, because you're going to have options to do whatever you want or to perceive or create whatever story you want in many of the aspects of GTA 6.
Says reputed video game journalist Jason Schreier has just...
Why you got to say it like that? I'm not a big fan of Jason Schreier as well. You know, I think that if you, Vera, are someone that is a right wing absolutionist and Jason is a left wing absolutionist, I think both of those sides are bad, and you need to come to the middle and understand that there's a place where we are treating people with respect and equality throughout, you know, all of the media, whether it be video games, movies, or in real life. And I understand that movies and video games are escapism, and therefore they don't actually have to abide by the standards of human decency. But at the same time, if you have had a toxic workforce, you know, in Rockstar with crunch culture or misogyny or whatever else has happened at Rockstar, we've seen it in Blizzard, we've seen it in Bungie, we've seen it in all these other companies, then it's not a bad thing that you have to do some cleaning up, as you would say.
Just reported an intriguing bit of information about GTA 6 in his latest article for Bloomberg. Now, I do not like Jason Schreier. I think he's one of the worst people within the video game industry. He is a serial opportunist. He withholds information to try to profit from it later on, like he.
Sure, absolutely. And you would maybe do the same if you were in his situation too, Vera. Because I don't think you're here for the video games. I think you're here to do what most of these online commentary people do, which is to follow a trend and hopefully get profit from that.
He knew what was going on at Blizzard, but he decided to hold that information for years so he could make money from selling a book, which is
He's not the only one, you know, and this is not just the gaming industry. This is everywhere. There are plenty of people that know the secrets that are not saying it, and a lot of them are insiders, and they should be obviously criticized for that and not speaking out about it. But they want to hold their positions, or they want to get a job, or whatever else. So it's a very selfish, a very shady industry.
absolutely fucking disgusting. If you really
Wow.
care about the safety of people and the video game industry.
If you really cared about the safety of people, maybe you wouldn't be so condescending to the fact that just because they're being less crude towards, you know, gendered people or minorities doesn't mean that they're not going to be satirical still. Doesn't mean they're not going to still be GTA, Rockstar, and that they're going to lose their identity completely. They're just going to do it in a much more equal way. And you could look at the past GTAs and say, okay, well, maybe that's a little bit too targeted. Maybe that's making fun at, you know, not the expense of anybody else besides the group, which is marginalizing them. Maybe don't do that so much. Maybe lift it up a little bit. Maybe have another message. Choice and consequences and stuff like that. Maybe. Who knows?
You would have released that information sooner, but he didn't. Though we heard a similar report just a few weeks ago by Endymion. He said that GTA 6 was going woke, that GTA 6 was going to be.
It doesn't matter what any of you do. Unlike most properties, Star Wars Outlaws, Dragon Age, Veilguard, you're not taking down GTA. You're going to play GTA. 100%. I mean, you always play these games regardless, right? But you're going to play it and everybody else is. You're not taking this game down. Even if it is the wokest game ever to be created in the world, GTA 6 is going to be fine. And there's nothing you can do about it. There are things that transcend discourse. This is one of them. Trump is another. Recently, at least.
Toned down, and he didn't really have like a ton of specific points, but it's basically the same exact thing that now Jason Schreier is parroting. So according to him, Rockstar Games asked its writers to be less crude towards transgender people and other minorities in the upcoming title. Bloomberg News has reported that GTA 6 will star a pair of playable characters, a man and a woman, inspired by Bonnie and Clyde, and that Rockstar is asking its writers to be less crude towards transgender people and other minorities, the common targets of throwaway gags in previous versions, which is
exactly. You should be able to read that, discern that, and because you are trying to be what you criticize Jason for being, a better person, and if you know something, say something. You should see that and say, well, you know what? Maybe they should spread out that satirical comedy to other groups as well. Make fun of other people as well. That doesn't mean they're going to eliminate it. Doesn't mean it's not going to be there. is it going to be done tastefully? Is that going to be targeted? Maybe there was people in the development team that were, I don't know, a little bit misogynistic, maybe a little bit racist, maybe a little bit discriminatory. Are those people, you know, being applauded? Should we applaud those people for the way they act, or for their naivete, or their ignorance, or for their blatant ideology? I mean, maybe you think that, and that's fine if you do. Please say it if you do, though, Vara. Please tell us.
Is going to be utter insanity. It is supposed to be edgy. It's supposed
It is going to be edgy. It's going to be edgy.
to be risky.
It's going to be risky.
It was never supposed to be safe. And if you
It's not going to be safe. And if you think that, then obviously you're just trying to, again, cater to your demographic, just like Jason is, for profit. And in both cases, it's wrong.
you can't handle the content of the game, don't play the game. That's all you can really say about a title this big. It reminds me of the Saints Row reboot back in 20.
Yeah, Saints Row is at its peak. Saints Row obviously was a very successful property. It used to complement GTA, and it used to get a bunch of residuals from the fan base. But it's obviously fallen off, and yeah, the rhetoric hurt that game, but the writing hurt that game as well. That's not going to be the case for GTA. GTA will be fine. The writing will be fine. There will still be risky. There will still be toxic. There will still all be the things that you expect from a GTA. It's just not going to go all in on trans people and minorities, nor should it, because it should encompass everybody with a little bit of equality. Now, again, you're going to have a choice as a player to do a lot of these things on your own in the world itself, outside of the story, right? And you'll probably be able to beat up on these people, or if you wanted, if that's your choice, if that's what you want to do, it's a game, and whether I agree or disagree, it's not illegal yet to do that in a video game. Someday it might be if they keep on connecting, games with violent tendencies for people in real life. Maybe that's going to happen, but we'll see.
2022 because it was so politically correct. You had like this cast of characters who were only committing crimes to pay off student debt. They argued about what toasters they were going to buy. It was basically a cast of characters who you would find at a Starbucks drinking soy lattes. It was the cringiest game of the past couple of
I mean, it's a concept. Not a very good one, but it's still a concept. You can't really criticize it for a concept. Its writing was bad. Obviously, its concept did not appeal to many people. And not much of a Saints Row premise. Again, didn't really. But it's not like it's trying to be innovative. It's trying to be different. I never played it. I was buggy. It wasn't written well. All those things probably hurt him more than the concept itself.
of years, at least in my
Yeah, we watch trailers here, buddy. We do.
opinion, very similar to something like Dustborn, which is not a game you want to be compared to. And it was just an absolutely pathetic situation all around because Saints Row was known for being GTA's little bro. And that's just not the direction they took that game in. And when it comes to GTA 6, I don't think that it's going to be completely politically correct. I do not see a way that they could spend billions and billions of dollars to try to kind of reframe the image of this franchise. But I do believe, on one hand, that it's too big to fail, right? If this game comes out and it's mechanically sound, it's not buggy and broken, it's not missing content, I don't think it's going to have a problem selling.
Okay. I have not watched this part of the video, and I'm going to give you some credit, Vara. This is obviously some intuition on your part. You do know this industry better than I gave you credit for initially. So that's good that you're making those concessions, because it's not going to be hurt by any kind of narrative or agenda. Now, if it's mechanically broken, if it's buggy, if it's all those things, yeah, it's going to hurt the numbers a little bit. But this game is going to sell. Cyberpunk sold. This game will sell. It transcends media. It is what it is. You like it or don't.
because I think the overall themes are still going to be pretty edgy, but you
Again, saying the same thing I said, and I'll have to give her credit, because I know I'm right and she's right in this particular aspect. I did not watch this video. I didn't know that she was going to say that. It is what it is.
are most likely, yes, going to notice that throughout the game, there's not going to be as many jokes and throwaway.
There's nothing wrong with that, right? Is that the conclusion you're going to make right now? I hope so, Vera. I really, really do. Come to my side a little bit, and you'll have a lot more respect for me. Do not go all in on your fan base. That's from what I understand your fan base wants. The red meat, don't give it to them. Don't give your red meat. Don't do it.
Gags aimed towards transgender people and other minorities, which I think is absolutely ridiculous.
Yep. You had to throw that red meat in, didn't you?
In a game like this, everybody should be able to be targeted no matter what their sexuality is or gender is or whatever. Like, again, we're talking about a game that is supposed to be edgy and anybody.
You've already just said in the line before you criticized it for being woke that it's going to be edgy. It's going to be risky. And now you're just throwing red meat. This is why you're criticized, Farah. This is why your rhetoric does not seem like it's actually sincere. Who are you as a person? Is this what you actually believe? Or are you just doing this as someone who knows can get views and support? If you are, that's fine. But please say it. You've defended your position through Jaffe and all these other people, and that's fine to do that. Obviously, you have every right to do it. But just say who you are principally. Don't back down. But don't hide from it either. Don't hide from it. Don't be scared of it. I'm not insinuating anything. But if you do have that frame of thought, if you think that way, even though your last line was basically saying that it's going to be that, and now you're suggesting that this overemphasis on trans or minority groups is not actually a bad thing, I question everything. Because you can have all that, and I agree with you. I think GTA has been that, and it should continue to be that. I don't think they should go Dragon Age Veilguard and deny the player of choice. You should choose whatever you want to do in a sandbox game like this. And it should be equal amounts of racism. Okay, that's what it is. Obviously, it's satirical, but you're being racist against, you're being discriminatory against a group, right? If you're going to go kick a trans in GTA, okay, or slap an African American as a white guy in GTA, that's indicative of a lot of things. Now, you should be able to, as a black guy, do the same thing. Slap a white guy, Go to a football game, okay, and literally shoot all the Chads in the stadium. I don't know. I mean, I'm trying to find some equivalency to this argument, which is farce to begin with. Let's have an equal amount of all that, and let the player choose. Let the player choose ultimately. I agree with that. And there will be plenty of trans in the game that you won't even know are trans. Maybe they'll have little cues to, their transition and stuff like that, whatever that may be. I don't know. You'll have your stereotypical Chads. You'll have your Karens. You'll have your gangsters. All those people will still be in the game. You can do whatever you want to them, which is ridiculous. But either way.
He could be the target of any kind of violence or crime, and now this is going to worry a lot of people.
It ain't worrying nobody. Okay? You're making a big deal of it, just like you have everything else. The red meat of your audience, Vera. The red meat.
People now, I do think that it's obviously going to make billions and billions.
Yeah, and then on the other side of your tongue. The other side of your tongue, you're like, I know it's going to be successful.
of dollars, and it's still most likely going to be
There's
a
gonna be more Red
smashing
Meat soon.
commercial success.
Here we go.
But hearing these things is not good. It's not something you want to hear when we're talking about the next major release. And Jason Schreier also did put out a lot of other information.
Yep.
Like, there's no mention of a release date change, so hopefully it is still on.
It is still coming. I'm not going to get into details in this video specifically because it's about Vara. But it's coming 2025. I've already said what I said about it, and I stand by that.
On track for fall 2025. The game has missed multiple deadlines so far. They have said that this is, of course, their most expansive game yet, and it's not shocking that they did miss deadlines, at least some of them, but it seems like it really got away from the developers. That's probably also why it's cost, at this point in time, $1.5 billion to develop. It says, though, GTA 6 has been in development for a decade, but only really entered
This is just not really important. Let's see if there's any other
battle of the two biggest games ever created.
Yeah, I mean, there is the chance that it does get delayed, but right now it's on its course, right? But there are many things that can happen within the next 4 months for those decisions to be made, which are huge decisions for financials. Now, if it's still post within the quarter, before March, and they maybe release in February, then it'll be fine. I think that is the most likely outcome. If it does slip the fall, it'll go to February to give them the extra 5 months, which is what, how much more can they put into that? For polish, maybe they're not gonna be able to do anything more mechanically. It's already done mechanically. It's already done story, all that stuff. But all this is polish. All of this is just trying to, work out as many problems that they can, and they can't figure them all out, but they're going to get a lot of them. And what we've seen with other games like Final Fantasy Rebirth, they spent a lot of time on polish. What was it? Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom, like a year or two in polish. That's insane. But in these big titles like this, in a AAA game like this, you do want that. You want that finished product. You want to harken back to the olden days where there was no updates and stuff like that. But we're going to end it here because I don't think there's going to be anything additional that I need to talk about regarding this video specifically. So that's my thoughts on the Vara Dark situation. Maybe I'll cover Vara a little bit more because this red meat agenda is a little annoying to me. Like I lean very varied in my political beliefs, okay? And I'm not here suggesting that, we should end, all types of behavior in video games. Like if you choose to want to act out on certain, like I'll give you an example, Red Dead Redemption 2, okay? And this is going to be a very glaring omission, but I never really played it until recently. And when I started playing that game, it was like right after the first intro story and then the open world opens up a little bit. I rode up on my horse to like a farm and it had pigs in it. And I killed all the pigs in the pig pen. And I did it to see if I could do it. I wanted to see how they acted, and they literally screamed to death. And it was so surreal that I stopped playing the game. And I'm not going to pick it back up. And that's not like me saying this is a bad game. No, it's not. It's not for me. And I'd be more inclined to play GTA because I don't think there's going to be animals in there that I can kill. Or to the extent that I can kill pigs. Like, seeing them rocking around there squealing, it was bad. It was horrible. To me, it affected me on a personal level. So I'm just done with that game. And I respect it for everything it is or it isn't. And I don't think we're going to get any less of that in GTA. It's a different thing. It's satirical. It's over the top. Those kind of things we do expect from GTA. And it's something that I like over Red Dead Redemption, which is a little bit more realistic. And again, I am someone that is a proponent of all those choices. I think that you should be able to make those choices, especially in video games. Maybe that stops somebody from doing something in real life. Maybe it does create something as well. I don't know. We'll have to have that debate when, we get there. But for the majority of my time playing video games, it's only ever been a way to escape, a way to deal with things, and a way to kind of enlighten my senses and kind of inform my opinion, which, I'm not saying I'm like the smartest intellectual person, but I do praise myself and my ability to communicate and have a conversation. But that's this video. My name is Bazookas. If you like this video, like and subscribe. We'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.